Howdy, folks, and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
It's good to be back.
I was thinking about what we could cover this week.
Oh, yeah. What you got?
Well, seeing as how our listeners are mostly walking the red road, members of the Rainbow Tribe, and
Right. Right.
I thought maybe we could dig into something that speaks to that path.
Okay, I'm with you.
How about we take a deep dive into the wisdom of the crow?
The crow, that's a good one.
Yeah, that sharp-witted bird that seems to always be watching.
Yeah.
For folks on a spiritual journey like ours, the crow ain't just another critter. It's a powerful spirit animal, a messenger, a guide.
Definitely. In a lot of Native American traditions, the crow is seen as a bridge between worlds.
Exactly. A bridge between the seen and the unseen, light and dark, the known and the unknown.
All that good stuff.
So today, we're going to unpack what we've learned about the crow from all sorts of sources.
Stories, teachings, even some of those old whispers passed down through generations.
That's right. And we aim to make it real practical for you, something you can take and use on your own path,
Absolutely. So where do we start with this feathered friend?
Well, the first thing that struck me is how much the crow emphasizes the importance of contrast.
Contrast.
Yeah, like the way it's comfortable in both the brightest light and the deepest shadows.
That's right. The crow ain't afraid of the darkness. It sees it as part of the whole picture.
And one of the sources had this really powerful line, "There is no problem on Earth, only contrast."
Ooh, I like that. No problem, only contrast.
Makes you think, don't it?
It sure does. It's saying that those things we see as problems, as challenges, are really just opportunities for us to learn and grow.
Like, if everything was always easy and pleasant, how would we ever know what true joy or strength felt like?
Exactly. It's those tough times, those moments of darkness that help us appreciate the light even more.
And it's through facing those contrasts that we come to understand ourselves better,
For sure. We learn what we're capable of, what truly matters to us.
Now, how does this idea of contrast play out on the red road for those walking a spiritual path?
Well, think about it. The red road is all about balance, about walking in harmony with all things. And that includes both the light and the shadow, the good and the bad.
So the crow is teaching us that we got to embrace those contrasts, not shy away from them.
Exactly. When something difficult comes up, instead of seeing it as a roadblock, see it as an opportunity for growth.
Okay, now I'm really starting to see how this all ties together.
Good.
But the crow ain't just sitting around pondering contrast all day.
Oh, no, not at all.
It's a bird of action, too, right?
Right. And one of the ways it shows that is through its voice, that loud, distinctive caw.
Yeah, you can't miss that caw, can ya?
And, these sources talk about that caw not just as a sound, but as a way of releasing pent-up energy.
Like a pressure valve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When the crow feels that buildup of frustration, anger, or even excitement, it lets it all out through that caw.
Now, for folks on the red road, this idea of release is super important.
Oh, tell me about it. We're constantly dealing with heavy stuff, emotional baggage, spiritual challenges.
So what's the crow saying we should do? Just go around cawing at everything that bothers us?
Well, maybe not literally, but the idea is to find healthy ways to express and release those emotions.
Okay, I'm listening.
Some of the sources suggest trying nonverbal expressions of release, like making sounds, moving your body, or even just taking a few deep breaths.
That makes sense. Sometimes words just get in the way, don't they?
They sure do. And if you're feeling really stuck, there's this other technique they talk about called the paper exercise.
The paper exercise, what's that all about?
It's pretty simple, actually.
Yeah.
You take a piece of paper and divide it in half.
Okay.
On one side, you write down all the things that are frustrating you, the things that are causing you stress.
All right. And on the other side?
On the other side, you write down the opposite of those things. Like if you're feeling trapped, you might write down freedom. Strength.
I see. So it's a way of creating that contrast, of seeing both sides of the coin.
Exactly. And just by getting those feelings out on paper, you can start to shift your perspective.
That's a pretty neat trick. I'm going to have to give that one a try.
Me too. Now, beyond these practical techniques, the crow also offers a deeper understanding of the forces at play in the universe.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, one of the biggies is this concept of the underlying law of love.
The underlying law of love. That sounds kind of deep.
It is deep, but also kind of simple once you get the hang of it.
Okay, break it down for me.
Basically, it's saying that at the very core of everything, underpinning all of creation, is love.
Love. You mean like hearts and flowers and all that?
No, it's bigger than that. It's more like a fundamental energy, a force that connects and sustains all things.
So even when things seem really messed up, when there's pain and suffering, love is still there.
That's the idea. It might be hard to see sometimes, but it's always there, like a steady current beneath the choppy waves.
Now, how does this tie into the crow's teachings?
Well, remember how we talked about contrast, how the crow is comfortable with both light and dark?
Yeah.
This law of love is kind of like that. It holds both the light and the dark, the good and the bad, within its embrace.
I see. So it's not about ignoring the darkness or pretending it doesn't exist, but about understanding that it's part of a larger whole.
Exactly. And ultimately, it's saying that everything is moving towards harmony, even if it doesn't seem like it at the time.
Now, for those walking the red road, this law of love offers a real sense of comfort, don't it?
It sure does. It reminds us that no matter what we're going through, we're never truly alone, never truly separated from that source of love.
Okay, now another thing that struck me about the crow is how it views the unknown.
What do you mean?
Well, a lot of folks are afraid of the unknown, right? They
Yeah.
see it as something dangerous, something to be avoided.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
But the crow doesn't see it that way at all.
No, it doesn't. One of the sources described the crow's perspective on the unknown as a thing as yet unknown, made of love.
Made of love. That's pretty wild.
It is, isn't it? It's like saying that even the things we don't understand, the things that scare us, are ultimately part of that same web of love that connects everything.
So instead of fear in the unknown, the crow is saying we should approach it with curiosity, maybe even a little bit of excitement.
Exactly. It's about seeing the unknown as a place of potential, of possibility.
Now, on the red road, we're constantly being called to step into the unknown, ain't we?
That's for sure. Whether it's trying a new spiritual practice, facing a personal challenge, or just stepping outside our comfort zones.
So the crow is reminding us that those steps into the unknown don't have to be scary. They can be adventures, opportunities for growth.
And sometimes, those are the very steps that lead us to our greatest discoveries.
You know, speaking of making things happen, the crow also has a lot to say about the power of our own minds.
Well, yeah.
One of the sources put it this way: what we can imagine, we can call into being.
Now, that's a powerful statement. It's saying that our thoughts, our imagination, have a real impact on the world around us.
Exactly. And it ties in with that whole concept of manifestation, the idea that what we focus on, what we give our energy to, is what we attract into our lives.
The crow is basically saying that we're not just passive observers in this whole grand scheme of things. We're active creators.
So if we want to see positive change in our lives, in the world, we got to start by imagining it.
Visualize it, feel it, believe in it.
And let go of those negative thoughts and fears that are holding us back.
That's key, because those negative thoughts, they have power too, unfortunately.
So for folks walking the red road, this is a reminder to use that powerful mind of yours for good.
To focus on what you want to create, not what you're afraid of.
To dream big and to trust that those dreams have the power to become reality.
That's the crow's message, loud and clear.
Now, along with all this talk about creation and manifestation, the crow also emphasizes the importance of reciprocity.
Reciprocity, what's that all about?
It's basically the idea that what you put out into the world comes back to you.
Oh, like karma.
Kind of, but it's more than just good deeds being rewarded and bad deeds being punished.
It's about understanding that we're all connected and that our actions have ripple effects.
Exactly. So if you're constantly putting out negativity, guess what's going to come back your way?
More negativity.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're spreading kindness, compassion, and love, you're going to get that back in spades.
It's like planting seeds, you reap what you sow.
And on the red road, this idea of reciprocity is crucial. We're taught to be mindful of our thoughts, words, and actions because they have a direct impact on ourselves and the world around us.
It's about living in right relationship with all things, about honoring that interconnectedness.
Exactly. And it's not just about getting something in return. It's about contributing to the overall well-being of the web of life.
Now, we've covered a lot of ground here, but there's one more piece of the crow's wisdom I want to touch on.
Okay, what's that?
It's this idea of the void.
The void. Sounds kind of spooky.
It might sound that way, but it's actually a really powerful concept.
Okay, tell me more.
Basically, the void is a state of pure emptiness, of nothing.
Like a blank slate.
Exactly. It's a place where all those thoughts, beliefs, and opinions that usually clutter our minds just dissolve away.
Now, how do you get to this void?
Well, meditation is a key part of it.
Makes sense. Quieten mind, letting go of all those distractions.
Right. And when you can access that state of emptiness, of pure potential, it opens up all sorts of possibilities.
So it's not about escaping reality. It's about seeing reality more clearly.
Exactly. By letting go of all those preconceived notions, you can start to see things in a new light.
That's interesting. So how might this idea of the void be helpful for folks on the red road?
Well, think about it. The red road is all about growth, about transforming ourselves, about shedding those old ways of thinking that no longer serve us.
Right.
The void offers a space to do that, to step outside of our usual patterns, to let go of those limiting beliefs.
And to open ourselves up to new possibilities, new ways of being.
Exactly. And sometimes life throws us some real curveballs, don't it?
It sure does.
Those moments when we feel overwhelmed, lost, like we're drowning in chaos.
You've been there.
Well, the void can be a real lifeline in those moments. It's a place to find stillness, to reconnect with our inner strength, to remember who we truly are.
It's like finding that eye of the storm, that calm center amidst all the turbulence.
That's a good way to put it. Now, shifting gears a bit, the Crow also has some interesting teachings about our differences.
Our differences.
Yeah, like how we're all unique individuals with our own thoughts, feelings, and ways of seeing the world.
Oh, right.
A lot of folks see those differences as a source of conflict,
Yeah, they can lead to misunderstandings, arguments, even wars.
But the Crow sees those differences as a good thing.
A good thing. How so?
Well, it's through those differences that we learn and grow. By interacting with folks who are different from us, we expand our own perspectives.
Like trying new foods, listening to different kinds of music, seeing the world through someone else's eyes.
Exactly. And by understanding and appreciating those differences, we create a richer, more vibrant world.
It's like the Rainbow Tribe, all those different colors, all those different traditions and perspectives coming together to create something beautiful.
So the next time you encounter someone who sees things differently than you, remember the Crow.
Don't shy away from that difference. Embrace it. See it as an opportunity to learn something new.
Now, underpinning all of these teachings are the laws of nature.
The laws of nature.
Yeah, like gravity, the cycle of the seasons, the way things grow and change.
Those untangible laws.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And the Crow is said to have a deep understanding of those laws.
It makes sense. Birds are so connected to the natural world.
And one of the sources made a distinction between the laws of nature and the laws that humans make.
Oh, yeah, like rules and regulations and stuff.
Right. Those human laws, they can change over time. What's considered right or wrong in one society might be different in another. But the laws of nature, those are constant. They're the same everywhere, for everyone.
So what's the Crow saying about these laws of nature?
Well, it's saying that we need to respect those laws to live in harmony with them.
Like respecting the earth, the seasons, the balance of life.
Exactly. And it's also saying that those laws, even though they seem strict and unbending, are ultimately expressions of love.
Like the way a mama bear protects her cubs, even if it means being fierce.
Or the way a tree grows tall and strong, even though it has to weather storms.
So it's not about being afraid of those laws of nature, but about understanding and working with them.
Right. And that's a key part of walking the red road, ain't it?
It sure is. We're taught to listen to the earth, to honor the natural world, to live in a way that's sustainable and life-giving.
All right, so we've covered a lot about the Crow's teachings, but what does it mean when the Crow shows up in your life?
What do you mean?
Well, a lot of folks believe that when you start seeing a particular animal a lot, it's a sign from the spirit world.
Like a message from your spirit guides or something.
Exactly, and the Crow is no exception.
So what does it mean when the Crow comes knocking?
Well, it can mean a lot of things, depending on the context. But generally speaking, the Crow is a sign of change, of transformation.
Like a call to pay attention, to look deeper, to be open to new possibilities.
Exactly. And it's often a sign that you're being called to step into your power, to embrace your own unique gifts and abilities.
So if you start seeing crows everywhere, don't just dismiss it as coincidence. Take a moment to reflect, to listen to what your intuition is telling you.
Maybe it's time to make a change in your life, to step outside your comfort zone, to embrace the unknown.
And to remember that you have the strength and wisdom to navigate whatever comes your way.
So to wrap things up, the Crow's wisdom is a powerful gift for those walking the red road, for anyone seeking spiritual growth and understanding.
It's about embracing contrast, releasing what no longer serves us, trusting in the underlying law of love, and stepping boldly into the unknown.
It's about using our minds to create positive change, honoring the laws of nature, and remembering that we're all interconnected.
And it's about listening to that inner voice, that intuition that guides us along the way.
Now listen up, y'all. The Crow has shared some mighty fine wisdom with us today. It's time to take these truths to heart, Shake off what ain't serving your spirit and step boldly onto your path.
Don't be shy about speaking your truth, even if it's just a good holler into the wind.
Remember that love is the bedrock of all things, and you got the power to choose your way.
So go on now, embrace the journey, and let your spirit soar like that wise old crow flying high above.
And one last thing for you to ponder.
What are those desires you hold deep within? The ones that can shape your reality and help bring about a brighter future for us all.
Think on that. Until next time, folks, walk in beauty.
Blessings on the path.
See ya.